It's very powerful, but I got to tell you, there's even more powerful material in it. Coincidentally, my wife watched the documentary. We never even discussed it and posted about it because she thought that it was so galling before I even said anything. It's very impactful. Sheryl Sandberg joins us now. Thank you very much for taking the opportunity.
Thank you, Chris, for having me and for caring about this issue. Caring about this is so important. I'm so grateful.
Well, let's talk about why the concern is a commodity. What does it mean to you that there is a significant appetite for the ability to say, nah, it didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't what they say. And even if it wasn't what they say, Israel did a lot of it.
I find all of that really scary and really unacceptable for the following reasons. This issue is not about what's going on in Gaza. This is not about whatever you believe should happen. You can believe there should be a two-state solution, living in peace. That's what I believe. You can believe anything you want to believe. But what you can't believe is that sexual violence, which has been this well documented, didn't happen. And what you really can't believe is that rape is resistance. Rape is never resistance. And I think people are having trouble in this polarized time holding two thoughts at the same time. You can believe that what's happening in Gaza is a tragedy. I believe that very deeply. You can believe that no innocent life should be lost. I believe that very deeply. But you still have to believe that what happened on October 7th was mass, systematic, planned rape and genital mutilation of women and men that has been documented. But since people don't believe it, I went to Israel and filmed this. And this gives anyone a chance. Just watch. If you're not sure, watch with an open eye, open heart, open mind, and just listen to what these people will tell you, because this is their story.
I want to get to another clip, but I want to ask you a context question first. So the immediate thing is the yeah, but. Okay, fine. Sandberg gets it right. I believe these people in here. Okay. But what about everything that Israel was doing to them just as bad for so many years, and that's why it happened? How do you deal with that?
There's no yeah, but of sexual violence. Think about this historically. For the most of history, we thought that when there's war, women's bodies are part of it. You conquer the village, you get the gold, you rape the women. No. 30 years ago, just 30 years ago, after Bosnia, the DRC, former Yugoslavia, people started prosecuting rape as a war crime, a crime against humanity. And every feminist group, every progressive group, and conservative group, everyone held this to be true, because we all have mothers. We all have sisters. We all have daughters. Rape is never necessary and doesn't need to be part of war. And if in this moment our polarization is so bad that we backtrack on that, that's unacceptable. And that threatens women all over the world. Chris, right now, as you and I are having this conversation, there are hostages, and they are still in Gaza, and we know they're being sexually assaulted. We know that because the released hostages have told us that they have spoken to the ones who are still there, and they're being sexually assaulted. One of the people who interviewed in this film told us that half of the hostages she met when she was in captivity had already been sexually assaulted, and that was months ago. We know right now, Ukraine, Sudan, Ethiopia, women are being raped as part of war. We all, no matter what else you think, we stand against this. And stand against this doesn't mean just, oh, it happened. But where's the outrage? Where are the protests? Where's the marching on this?
Especially when it was perpetrated by design by a terror organization, which we saw during 9/11 was like, you know, the one thing that could bring all Americans together, because there was division then also. But then there was a common bad guy, somebody who did something that no one could agree with, in the form of what we would then call Al-Qaeda. This time, not happening with Hamas. Nobody's protesting, screaming, bring them back, bring them back. And it is upsetting, which is, of course, the catalyst for why you wanted to give people more truth. Now, a clip that I'm very interested in, and if I don't have it, I still want you to tell me the story. One of the huge images that wound up being weaponized was there was a woman in some of the raw video that came through early on. We saw it. I think my producer Jonathan grabbed it off Telegram when we were in Israel, was of a young woman whose pants were all bloodied.
Nama. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
And, oh, okay, they have the clip. Great. Let me just show everybody to remind. And I know this isn't easy to watch, but it happened. So you have to deal with the reality because too many people are distorting the reality. So when you actually have it, you've got to watch it. Here it is.
Correct.
She's barefoot and in her pajamas, and they're blood-stained. And I think thinking of what she experienced, you know, until that point, and how long was she? You know, maybe that's the thing with that video. That we would like to think that this couldn't be possible. That nobody would harm a young girl. But then you just see it there. They're the one who posted that video, the Hamas.
Now, that particular scene, Sheryl, I can't tell you how quickly and how often people would say, oh, no, that wasn't her blood. She was just sitting on a truck. Or she was sitting somewhere. Oh, no, she wasn't. It wasn't that she was hurt. It was something else. That's IDF propaganda, that they want you to see it that way. And I remember being startled that someone could come up with that, because my feeling was, well, how could you know that? You know, how could anybody know that that was the explanation? What did you make of the moment and what that mother means to our understanding?
I mean, I sat there with Ayelet. That's her mother. The young woman in the video is Nama. I don't think anyone knows if that's blood or not. But she's watching her daughter get taken into captivity. I mean, can you imagine? I have daughters. I have 3 daughters in captivity still to this day. We do know what happened to a lot of people. There's another scene in the documentary where this guy, Rami, who's a hero, and I'm sure you remember, he's ginormously large. He's a private citizen. The sirens go off on October 7th. He gets in his car, takes his gun, and goes to where the terrorists are. He rescued hundreds of people by himself. And I walked with him in a field of trees. This guy crying said, in this field right here, I saw women's bodies dead, sorry, this is graphic, naked, legs spread, bloodied. They had been raped and killed, and they were tied to these trees. I closed their legs. I covered them with sheets. And he was crying because he didn't rescue them. We know exactly what happened to those women. That was blood seen by eyes. Body after body after body was coming in naked. I said to one of the first responders I was interviewing for the film, you've been processing bodies, getting them ready for burial for many years in many countries. How often are they naked? Never. They're never naked. Naked is sexual violence. He told me that there were so many people, they couldn't identify if they were women or men because their genitals were mutilated. This is mass systemic sexual violence, and the world needs to see what we're up against. Hamas aren't subtle. They don't say, oh, we're done. They say, we're coming back. We're going to do October 7th over and over again. The terrorist groups that are funding them, they don't say only death to Israel. They say that, but then they say death to America.
Yeah.
This is what we're up against. And as painful as this is to watch, people need to see it because this, and you've been so clear on this, this is a challenge to our way of life. Mm-hmm. This is a challenge to democracy. This is a challenge to equality for women anywhere in the world. And they're very clear what they're trying to do.
So, Sheryl, let me ask you a personal question. You have lived your entire life believing that if you will it, if you work for it, if you're smart enough, if you're good enough, it's going to happen. And you have killed it by every metric. And now, just like that, you're in a position where being Jewish and having Jewish children all of a sudden puts you in a palpable state of peril in the place that you thought was the safest place in the world, where the one place in the world where it doesn't matter if people have a problem with Jews is not going to touch you here. How has it shaken what you believed about everything that was absolute in your life?
I mean, thank you for the question, Chris, because it shows how deeply you understand this. If you asked me on October 6th, if we would see terrorists parachute into Israel, kill people. I want to be clear. They are holding hostages right now, and they're not just Israeli. Some of them are American. And then what we would see is not outcry and get the hostages back and bring down the terrorist group and make our borders safe and get someone on the other side of the border that can be negotiated peace for the Middle East, but rather it's Israel's fault. Or I had to tell I looked at my 18-year-old son who wears a Jewish star, and I looked at him, he was going traveling, and I said, I'm sorry, sweetie, I need you to take that star off. Tears running down my face because I'm not sure it's safe for him. That is a terrible place to be. And honestly, that's why I'm speaking out. That's why I made this film, because we cannot let this happen. We've taught everyone to believe women, believe these women, believe their bodies. This documentary is the story of women who are not here to tell their own stories, and the story of some hostages who got out and can share what's happening right now. We have to stand against hate, racism of all kinds, and that, for the first time in my life, includes anti-Semitism. I am so grateful to you, Chris, because the depth of your care and understanding of this, you are brave, and we're never going to do this alone. We're not going to do this alone as women. We need men who care about sexual assault. We're not going to do this alone as Jews. We need people of all religions to care about anti-Semitism, just like we have to care about violence everywhere, about racism and hatred everywhere.
We got problems at home, but you know, the signature of the American experience has always been that we're in it together, right? Everybody here was running away from somewhere else. We got nowhere else to go. We have to stay together here. And now we realize that the threat is more immediate than we knew before. I think that this was a really, really ambitious thing. I don't know you, but this was not easy. Couldn't be easy for you. I've been doing this a long time, hearing those kinds of stories. And I know that's very penetrating, not just as someone who's Jewish, but as a woman and as a mom and as a human being. You took a lot on to tell this story, and I appreciate you for doing it, because if you don't believe, you need to watch. If you do believe, you need to watch, because you need to be able to tell others. Screams before silence. Sheryl Sandberg, we're a call away if we can help. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.